Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. And today, first I want to preference, ignore the slants. I think the slants are just there now for every video. Think I got all the lighting better in here. It's a lot better than the last couple of videos I filmed, but it's a work in progress, guys. But today I'm going to film my long-anticipated Q&A video. I hit 100 subscribers this year, back in the beginning of November, and I asked you guys for questions. I have a total of 27 questions. Granted, the 27th is a 3-part question, which y'all get there. I'm gonna get there. I had started writing these down, and for the life of me, I could tell you the one from Facebook, the few that I got from Twitter, but if it wasn't from YouTube, I didn't write down who they were from, so I apologize. Well, and the one that a friend of mine sent me through Snapchat because she thought it was an amazing question, and she's just like, I gotta ask you because I gotta know your answer. I told her I would give her her answer in this lovely video. But let's start off, which I don't have them in any, they're in random order. By people, by places, like you got Facebook, then Twitter, and then we go down by people. So first, number 1 would be the best YA book for starters, in my opinion. Or in my opinion. By the way, I wrote these questions down, but I didn't practice anything for this. To me, if you're wanting to get into YA, if you're wanting to get into mysteries, I suggest James Patterson, his Confession series, the Confessions of an Angel, Confessions of that quartet. It's really good for mysteries. If you're really into fantasy, I suggest Harry Potter if you haven't read it. Granted, I know the first couple are considered middle grade. Well, YA fantasy, if you want high fantasy for starters, I would definitely check out Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, which is actually easy to get to. Smoke and Bone. This is the British cover. I definitely suggest Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. That's a really good for historical, if you're wanting to get into historical. If you're wanting to get into a paranormal kind of story, I will always suggest How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather. That's just contemporary. If you want a really good hard-hitting contemporary. For a YA reader, I definitely suggest The Serpent King by Jeff Zetner. Which, actually, I'm going to put that back over there. Okay. That was my one Facebook question. I don't remember who asked, but hey, answered your question. Sorry if I forgot who did this. That post was made like a month ago. My bad, guys. Now on to the 6 Twitter questions that I got. If you could choose one character to trade your lives with, who would it be and why? Can I go with my go-to answer for everything? Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. Because Harry Potter. Luna, if she was a Hufflepuff. Just saying. Just sit there. Do you prefer to read books in the quiet or listen to music while reading? I don't necessarily listen to music while reading, but I do have to have some sort of ambient noise in the background. I can't just sit there where it's really, really quiet. Most of the time I have an audiobook going for the said book that I'm reading, because sometimes, like with classical novels or novels that I'm having a hard time getting into because my brain can't focus on it for some reason, because I suffer from shiny squirrel syndrome, that I like to have an audiobook playing in the background. That way I can hear that and focus on the words in front of me. Do I have a least favorite book? Unpopular opinion. The only reason why I still have it is I plan on rereading this. It used to be one of my favorite books when I was 16. Then I read it when I was 20, I do believe, and couldn't stand it. I'm planning on a reread for next year to dissect this and go into more detail on, do I still hold the same opinions I have with it? But that's pretty big of a chunker of a book for me to do something like that with. Wait, it's only 498 pages? God, it looks a lot bigger. Books in there are Bible pages. Also, poetry book. All of It's For You by Nico Tortella. Horrible, 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 horrible. Legitimately, there are 2 poems in it that are a piece of crap. One is literally about shit, and the other one's about piss. Like, what? I love you, Nico, but what? Like, what? I just can't fathom that poetry book. What is your all-time favorite book or series? Well, I have 2 all-time favorite series. Harry Potter. My British copy was closer to grab. Which is kind of matching because it's purple and purple. How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather. Granted, there's only 2 books in this series, and girl, I need a book 3! But please. And I still can't wait for her new book, Killing November, which comes out in March. Check it out. And my all-time favorite standalone currently is The Serpent King by Jeff Setner, which literally there's a part in this book where I literally had to set the book off to the side and I bawled my eyes out for 2 hours before I could pick it back up and get the strength to continue on. Okay. Ooh. I don't know what fell. Oh, okay, I see what fell. Who in the book community inspires you the most? I have a lot of booktubers that inspire me to do better. There's like some of my all-time favorites, from Francine Simone to Juliet Pages and Pens, Chelsea at Chelsea Darling Reads. But there are 4 women that I want to preference and stand out because I talk to them almost daily, if not. One I talk to every time she posts a video. We collaborate. I did a live show with her recently on one of the other one's channels for Harry Potter Read Along, which that one I want to preference is Zoe from Your Book Nerd Zoe, which, by the way, these 4 girls I'll link down below. Zoe is amazing. She is all the extra you never knew you wanted in your life. She is that garbage extra that we all know and love. Like, how can you not love it? Like, it's Zoe. And the other 3 have become really, really close friends of mine. And it's kind of funny because they're all 3 in different parts of the world. You have Melanie at Completely Melanie. I do believe she's near Tennessee. Don't quote me on that. but she's my American BFF in this book world. Then you have Nikki at I Read Past My Bedtime in Canada. Oh, Canada. That's all I know of the song. And I'm going to shut up now. And then there's Charlie at Charlie Brooks from the lovely country of England. She's our favorite Brit. Those three girls have become very much lifelines. Like, I know I can lean on them, they know they can lean on me. We have all become really a close-knit family, and I have buddy read books with two of them. I'm planning a buddy read with another. P.S. If you hear any outside noise, dogs going crazy, or the TV is going crazy in the background, so ignore all other ambient noises. Back to what I was saying. They are my Booktube family, in a sense. So, I love them dearly with all my heart. Question number 7, my last Twitter question, is what was the first book that made you want to read more? And I honestly don't think I have this book out. I think it's in one of the boxes in my closet, because you all know I moved, and I had to... Before Harry Potter's the first fantasy novel that made me want to dive into more fantasy. But The Hardy Boys was the first book I remember picking up as a child and just needing the next and diving into the next and just loving all the worlds, because they're amazing. But then there's these three that are all from Night Fear, which I love you, girl. Thank you for the questions. Here on YouTube. I'll link her channel down below as well. What do you want to be when you grow up? You know, it took me a long time to figure that out. I'm 28, and I'm just now figuring that out, that I want to go back to school to be, I either want to be a librarian, or I want to be a book publisher. I also would love to write some of my own books. If you could read only one genre, what would it be and why? Can I say 2? Because I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one. I read a lot of fantasy and I read a lot of mystery. I think I would read more fantasy, because at least with mystery, I have my detective TV shows like Criminal Minds and all that stuff to fill in the gap of that. But I don't think I could ever truly get rid of Harry Potter or Diviners, and there's so many different layers to a mystery novel, from paranormal to urban to regular to high fantasy to Tolkien to my witches to my middle grade. Just, yeah. I think I answered that question. What do you collect other than books? I collect a lot of wolf whatnots. I collect a lot of things. A lot of wolves, which are all packed away. A lot of Marilyn Monroe, which I can show you guys above are some of my Marilyn Monroes, but I will state the main thing that's the largest collection of mine are my movies and my TV shows. Like, do you see how large this movie collection, and then you've got my TV shows are? Put you back on the tripod. But yeah, those are what I collect the most. Besides my little wolfies. Oh, and I also have a large collection I read Duckies because it just reminds you to be a little kid and to always have that imagination in your life. So I feel like everyone needs a rubber ducky on their shelf. Just so. Okay. These next two questions are from Gaia Athena. I hope I said your name right on here. What book genres do you read the most? Fantasy, mystery, and LGBT contemporary. Just. And witches, if you want to consider witches a genre. Do I have any pets? I personally don't, but you can hear the whining dog in the background. That would be my parents' gigantic rhymer, I think that's how it's pronounced, Chapel. It's like, stands about like that, on, not even on his hind legs, just on all fours. Big damn dog. Big damn dog. Okay, these next three are from Tabby Newcomb, which is amazing. Let me get something real fast. I recently buddy read her book Unearthly Divine, which she was so kind enough to send to me, with Melanie at Completely Melanie. And this is an amazing book if you're into angels and Twilight-esque storylines with love and guilty pleasure read that is so good, and I feel like everyone needs to more paranormal romances in their life because yeah, it's a really good book. And the questions from her, which by the way, Tabby is a doll. She sent me my lovely favorite elf on a shelf, which actually sits over here on a makeshift shelf. Besides witches, what is your favorite supernatural creatures to read? That is an easy question. I'm just going to say shapeshifters. If you premise a story with a werewolf, with a werecat, a honey badger shapeshifter, a grizzly bear, a chimera, a lion shifter, any type of human turning into an animal or vice versa, I'm down. Guilty pleasure reads, just saying. What is my favorite hobby other than reading? Does sleeping count as a hobby? I do like to watch a lot of movies, and I like to hang out with friends. And a surprising thing that you guys might not know is I do drag outside of this. It's been a year since I've been in drag, but I do perform in the art of drag, which if y'all don't know what drag is where I dress up as a woman and perform on stage and give a gay old time as Miss Tari Novell. Mystery novel from the House of Hallowell. If you were an author, what story would you tell? I actually want to be an author, and I'm actually kind of working on a few ideas, but I have to read the classical novels for said ideas. One of which being Sleepy Hollow, which I just recently got from Ginger. Love you, girl. Which I didn't realize Sleepy Hollow was so short. Which I think this is even more of a condensed version for kids, but still. I looked it up and it's 88 pages, and they just shortened it 20 pages. But I want to take classic gothic horror books like Frankenstein, Sleepy Hollow. I would love to take stories like that, Dracula, Cthulhu's, all of that, and I want to put it into a nowadays time period or an alternate universe with LGBT-like aspects. Like, say, take Frankenstein and mix with transgender, have a kid who's reading a book reading Frankenstein, who's a female to male transgender who relates with the monster, if that makes sense. I want to use all the aspects of the LGBTQIA2 plus community. I hope I used all the right letters in the right order, and tell their story through the art of a story that you already know, like Hunchback of Notre Dame and Dracula. I feel like there's a joke there with Dracula and lesbians, but we're not going to get into that. But that's the kind of story I would love to tell. I don't see that happening any time in the near future, but give your boy a chance. Okay, my next questions are from Charlie at Charlie Brooks, and ignore the loud noise. What books did I love as a kid? I loved any of middle grade, like, mystery novels, from Hardy Boys to Boxcar Children, Hank the Cowdog. And then I got into Harry Potter, my Tamora Pierces, my Cornelia Funk, stuff like that is what I loved. Which, by the way, love you for these questions, Charlie. She's already linked down below by the time this video goes up, so love you. My favorite hot drink is, technically what I'm drinking is not the hot version, but tea. I'm drinking sweet tea right now. But I do like a lot of different herbal teas and stuff like that. So I also do like my hot chocolate. Not a coffee drinker because I'm allergic to coffee. Fun fact. Y'all did not know. Favorite actors and actresses. Marilyn Monroe. Favorite actress. A lot of her movies. Meryl Streep. Bette Midler. Betty White. Shirley MacLaine. Favorite actors would be Ezra Miller and Eddie Redmayne right now, but I own a lot of Johnny Depp. I used to be obsessed with Jackie Chan. Alyssa Milano for an actress. Kerr Smith for an actor. Hugh Jackman, Daniel Radcliffe. Basically, if you were in Harry Potter, I loved you. Oh, and favorite Broadway actress, though? Let's go a little bit Broadway here for a second. My top 3 have got to go to Miss Samantha Barks. Is it Barks or Banks? Hold that thought. She was in a movie recently. And it doesn't say, never mind. Do you believe it's Barks? But don't quote me on that. Sierra Bogaris, Idina Menzel, Kristen Chenoweth. Now we're just going down my list of drag inspirations. And who are some of my heroes and why? My mother. Because my mother took care of 2 extremely difficult children, me and my sister. I was difficult in a different way as I acted out a lot with ADHD-like syndromes, but not ADHD, and then coming out of the closet as gay wasn't a lot that she could handle. My sister also had cerebral palsy, CMV, and microcephaly, so she had to deal with a handicapped child, but she always stood strong, and she never showed that she was tired. So, she's my hero. Okay, these next 3 questions are from Nikki at I Read Past My Bedtime. I have her already linked down below. My favorite color. I have 2. Cerulean blue and electric lime green. Just saying. Future wedding colors. People will hate me. They'll see me at the wedding and BAM! Color. Favorite setting in a book. Season or whatever you interpret as a setting. I consider a Sherlock Holmes-esque story as a setting. If you have a setting where you're hunting down a mystery and it's very detective style, that to me is a setting that I love. And also, to go back to Harry Potter, a boarding school. You say the word boarding school or detective, and hand it here. I'm already sold. You say witches, already sold. And favorite thing to do in your spare time aside from reading? I discussed that in an earlier question where I sleep a lot and hang out with friends. These next three are from Terrell Bellinger, which I will link her down below. She is an absolute doll. Who are some of my favorite LGBTQIA2 plus authors? Adam Silvera, because he wrote More Happy Than Not, which shattered me. I do love Becky Albertalli's writing, even though I know she's not technically queer. Gotta think. And the one that I feel like doesn't get a lot of hype because he doesn't really have a lot of new books. He was in the all-out queer teens throughout the universe, the not-so-queer teens throughout the universe. Let me grab his book, one of his books. He's bottom shelf, isn't he? Yep. And that would be Alex Sanchez, which read one of my all-time favorite... Who wrote one of my all-time favorite series, The Rainbow Boys. He is such an author that I feel like everyone should check out if you're really into LGBTQI plus storylines. He has quite a bit, and he also has one that was turned into a movie called The Good Box. I haven't read the book, but the movie was amazing. What was the first fantasy series did you remember reading as a kid? Harry Potter? Is that like everyone's answer to that? But that's the first one I remember reading. And then after that I read The Circle Opens Quartet by Tamora Pierce. And then there was the Ink Heart, Ink Spell, and Ink Death by Cornelia Funk. And what popular YA contemporary books with the mental health aspect would you want to recommend to fans of 13 Reasons Why? As someone who's not a fan of 13 Reasons Why, I don't really read a lot of mental health books, only because I deal with anxiety and depression, and a lot of times the mental health aspects of books cause my anxiety to go crazy. But it's not necessarily labeled a mental health book, but I would recommend The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner, solely for the fact that it deals a lot with social anxiety, depression, suicide, and a lot of other like deeper inner thoughts. More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera also deals with a lot of grief and depression, anxiety, suicides, and stuff like that. Can you see a trend? As a survivor, I don't know if you can see my tat. Okay, and my last question that I got for my friend Chance Hale, she gave me a 3-part question, which is, if you could choose 5 universes to pull into your reality, which would you choose? Would you survive? And which character or characters would you team up with to defeat and take over the world? Okay, 5 universes. Harry Potter. Duh. The Diviners. Prithia from A Court of Thorns and Roses. Trying to do ones that aren't like the world of Smoke and Bone, Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. And I can't think of a fifth one. Screw it, we'll bring in the Shadowhunters, even though I'm still not caught up with that series. But I would bring in all 5 of those into one universe. Actually, no, replace Shadowhunters with the world of Patricia Briggs's Mercy Thompson world, with the Fae, the vampires, the werewolves, and yada yada. The characters I would team up with to help me survive would be the Inner Circle from A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I have to team up with Amarin and more. The Diviners, the whole crew, because if ghosts are running around, I'm going to need a little help. And Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter can team up with us. And Adam and his pack of werewolves, even though I don't trust all of them. But I need Quinn in my life and Mercy to help me. And I'm pretty sure we would help defeat all bad in the world and everyone can go to fucking hell. Because, yeah. But those are the lovely questions that I received from you guys. If you've got any extra bonus questions you want to ask, link them down below. And if this is your first time and you liked what you saw, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you so choose. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Until next time, kids, remember, kids, reading is what's fundamental. Until next time, bye.